Welcome to the Be Honest Man podcast, a discussion among men of various perspectives on subjects from the taboo to the typical. This is episode 0. How we doing, guys?
Doing good, man. Glad to be here. How are you guys doing?
I'm excited to get into the first episode. We've been talking about this for not that long, actually. The idea sprung up a couple weeks ago, and we moved pretty quickly on it. We've thrown things together, and now we are actually doing episode 0, which is not like that kind of counts, right? Like, kind of.
I would say so.
I'd say so.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah, and 0, good of a number as any, right?
Yeah, we could have done something. We could do like 0.5, 0.5.
We can edit. Just throw it in afterwards, huh?
I'm just glad to be doing this in general. We've been talking about doing a podcast for years, and finally getting to do this I think it's big.
Yeah, actually getting a subject that we actually want to sit down and discuss versus just kind of recording nothing, or just general talk.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people, one of the ideas was that I didn't want to just be another group of dudes who decided to start a podcast about nothing. And so we picked what we wanted to talk about. We've ironed out the details, and that's a perfect segue. And so, what are we doing? What is it that we are accomplishing with this podcast? To start, we want to have honest discussions as men about a lot of things. Our little tagline is ranging from the taboo to the typical, but I mean, from things about just pure manhood, being a man, things that impact men, to tons of other stuff. So I'm sure you guys have other things to say.
Everything that you interact with in the world and how we interact, with society and life in general. And the whole purpose of this episode 0 is just to allow the listeners to get an idea of who it is that's talking about these things. So, you'd kind of get an idea of how we view things, where we come from, our backgrounds, and a little bit about our perspectives.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of things that men deal with on a day-to-day basis that I think a lot of us don't honestly discuss. A lot of things we're all going through. I think that can be said for pretty much everybody in life.
Yeah.
But having a place to come forward, talk about these things, bring it to light, and not have these things be so taboo.
Well, one thing is we are not doing a woe is me thing. I guess I want to make that very clear up front. We are bringing things to the forefront. We are talking about these things, but this isn't a whoa, being a man is so hard, like this is definitely just talking about these things as men and being honest, because a lot of the time you feel the pressure to not be honest, to hide some of the things, the mental health stuff. I mean, just so many things that we'll get into throughout this podcast. So
definitely. So it'll help bring a lot of these things to the forefront and hopefully get some good conversation started. Like I said, it's not all negative. There's a lot of good things out there too. So where are we going from, this to that, and kind of having a broad scope. And we'll have plenty of time to discuss all these things amongst the four of us with our different backgrounds. That's going to be nice, some different viewpoints. Something that's going to be very nice and very, I guess, kind of clearing, I guess.
No, that makes sense. And the other thing that I want listeners to keep in mind is that our hope is not to just kind of keep this inclusive to the four of us and whatever future guests, we have. Is we want to develop, whether it's just through the comments on episodes or even maybe developing a community beyond that of people, again, to have that open and honest discussion, to ask questions, get answers, just, be honest, with each other about different subjects.
Yeah, these are very much our personal opinions. We're not going around dropping facts on all you guys. This is just coming from us, and hopefully it inspires someone to be a little more open with whoever they need to talk to.
Yeah. So on that note about, it is our opinions, we can talk about, some of our history, some of who we are, and how, our opinions might vary. I mean, one thing I guess I want to be clear up front is we are very different people, but we have similarities as well, right? Like the three of you are married. So that's something that we don't have a lot of outside knowledge on that. I think we all lean relatively left politically, so we're not exactly getting a conservative viewpoint on this, but that's why we'll have guests, right? We'll have people that we can bring in to discuss different topics, maybe that we don't have that point of view on. As was touched on earlier, we will bring on guests for, maybe fatherhood, for maybe I don't know, whatever other topic that I don't feel well versed in. So maybe I sit out and somebody comes on, or Sean or Chris, or, we haven't even said our names. So we're going to use that to go into the part where we tell you a little bit about ourselves. And doing that, we will give you a little bit of a bio, but also answer 2 questions to give you just a little bit more of who we are. And that is what topic we are most excited to talk about, and what something that we hope to gain from doing this podcast. So, do we have a volunteer to go first?
I can go first.
All right, take it
Yeah.
away.
So So my name is Indy. Military brat. Been a little bit of here, a little bit of there, overseas. So I've not grown up in one particular area. So I was always used to being the new kid, and I think that helped shape who I am as a person. Also, having a father who was in the military gave me a little bit of that rigidity and strength as a father in that way. I am married, and my wife and I are in the process of having a child, and so that's very, very exciting for me. And yeah, it's been a crazy journey, and definitely excited to talk about, I guess, kind of the expectations society sets for what a man should be. I think men have their own perception of what we should be, and society has their own. And it'd be nice to discuss and bounce back and forth what we expect us to be and what other people expect us to be.
Okay. And one thing that I'll throw out there, just because people at home might not have the video and realize that we are a relatively diverse cast here, and that Indy is African American,
Yes.
I am white, Sean is white, my brother, we are
That's
siblings,
me.
and then Chris is interracial, right? Or biracial, I think is the right way to say that, right? Which one?
Biracial.
Biracial, yeah,
Biracial.
biracial.
Sorry.
Unless he's asexual,
We'll talk
which
about
is another
interracial
topic.
later. We'll talk about that another time.
I mean, interracial got me here.
Exactly.
yes, it did.
It was getting tied in somehow, for sure.
Another thing that I think each of us is also our age. I know we're
Yeah.
all relatively close, but
Yep.
And Indy,
Yeah,
how old are you?
So I am 40,
Mhm.
and I will be 41 this year. So that's an interesting age for starting fatherhood as well.
Yeah.
So
Indeed.
definitely curious to see how that goes. But
And
It's
I'm
gonna
the
go
baby.
there you go.
I'm freshly 31, so I'm the baby. But I'm not ready to answer all the questions yet, so somebody else is going.
Sounds
Sure.
like a
So my name is Chris. I'm 31. Just barely older than Steven, but older enough that he
6
rubs it in
months.
all the time. I will be the first to admit that I grew up with a pretty privileged childhood. So I can't honestly say that it shaped me in the most positive ways growing up. So I'm really excited coming into this to kind of pick up how childhood was for you guys and how you've grown and evolved as men.
We were poor, Chris.
Yeah, and I wasn't. And that was great.
That's a running joke. You guys will hear about that throughout the show. That's a running joke, but also true.
Yeah, I mean, we've come up with a ton of topics that we want to talk about in the future, and I think what really speaks to me the most coming up is going to be mental health in men. I know I've personally struggled with a lot of it. It'll be nice to put that out there for everyone else to hear.
Sean, take it away.
Well, as he said, my name's Sean. I believe 33. I am Steven's older brother.
Well, we don't ever say that though.
Yeah, well, I call him my little brother all the time.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Little bro.
Gotta
You know,
guess that age.
I'm not gonna get too much into the upper. I guess I can. Steven's gonna have to rehash some of it, because obviously we grew up in the same house.
Hey, don't steal the spotlight, dude.
But grew up a single mom. Our dad was kind of in and out of our life, usually in I would say in negative ways most of the time, up until I was like in my teens. I would say, like, when he started to get his stuff straight enough that he could be in our lives without being a detriment, I guess is the way to say it. So we had a kind of a revolving door of different men that kind of came in and out of our life. Just that in one way or another, whether it was someone my mom dated or someone in the family or something like that. That a lot of time weren't really positive role models. And so I've spent a lot of my life as once I got kind of into my 20s and on from there, trying to develop myself, to be the man I am today. Which I am actually proud of who I am today. It's taken a lot to get to that point and to say that, and I hope to kind of help and spread some of that around, through the podcast. And I am married. I've been married. I think it's what year is it?
Careful here, careful.
Fancy you said,
2022.
It's 6 years, I think now.
There you go.
Yeah, but we've been together
watch
much
out,
longer
she's
than
in the
that.
other room, so
Yeah, for real. I don't think she can hear me. Hopefully not.
she's
But
gonna
yeah,
watch this
so
back.
Oh
yeah,
yes.
so I'm very very happily married. Fatherhood maybe in the future, but I'm gonna let Indy have the spotlight for now on that. Let him shine. Um,
I'll let you know if you need to
yeah,
back out.
I'm not gonna get too much. I don't think we're gonna get too much into our occupations or anything like that in this episode. Just kind of,
It's not a bad idea as to just like, something that we can go back around, no biggie. So you can say what you do and we can go around because
I'm
those things are important too, because it helps diversify who we are. We all do different things, we're all in the different fields.
no, that's a good point. That's a good point. So I'll start off that section with saying that I am a firefighter and a medic. I've been doing it with my current department for 8 years, and I did it a good number, I'd say a couple years before in a different city. I do that because I felt this urge to serve, and my life's motto is just kind of to reduce suffering in the world. As cheesy as that may sound, that's just kind of my goal in life, and I
Hey,
found that
somebody's
it's a
got to
good
do
way
it,
to
man.
do it. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's just kind of how I try to live life. But as far as what I'm most, you know, looking forward to talking about, I think it might have been one of the subjects I brought up, which was going to be discipline, just kind of self discipline and developing self discipline, because I think it is extremely important to developing yourself as a human being. And I want to be able to kind of talk about how I've managed that and all the pitfalls I've fell into along that way, but also see how everyone else is doing it and what I can learn from that.
Oh
What was
yeah,
the other
we got to say
question?
we got to help ourselves before
Oh,
we can
dude,
help
you
others,
you
right?
got enough freaking airtime right now, dude. You don't get a second question.
All right, fine. Go ahead. You said you needed time to think about it. I was waiting for the wink.
We're gonna
I
hold on.
needed.
Let's hear about things. We didn't get to talk about Indy's position and work and stuff like that. Again, guys, this is our first episode, so we are doing it more on the cuff. So we are missing some of the points that we meant to talk about earlier. There's gonna be these sort of let's wrap back around, touch on that again, and that's what we're doing right here. So Indy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so I am a merchandise coordinator for one of the largest retailers out there in the world. I've been doing this job for 20 years. So pretty much in this job. It's not where I want to be end goal, but it's paying the bills right now, and that's what it's all about.
That's important.
Providing for the fam.
Yeah, something to talk about later. When it comes
Oh
to those
yeah.
sorts of things. And then
Oh
Chris,
yeah.
your chance to go back again.
All right. Don't tell my wife, but I forgot to mention that I'm also married. Um, I'm the newlywed. I've been married for about 7 months. I'm currently just a stay-at-home husband. My wife makes enough to cover everything for the both of us. I have goals in the future, and like we said, we'll talk about that later on. But as of right now, I'm a stay-at-home husband.
All right. And to me, so I am Steven. I am 31, freshly 31, just a couple of weeks ago, much younger than Chris. And so just so we're clear, I know that might come up again. I am the youngest of the group, but we don't have a crazy wide age range. It's like 10 years. I currently work in a startup in the esports tech industry as director of content. I have worked in esports for probably 5 years now. So competitive gaming, for those of you who aren't aware, is what I do. I've worked as a staff writer, done content stuff. I do streaming as well on the side, along with some other things that I like to pursue. What else is there? I'll just start answering some of the questions now before if I think of anything else I need to add. What topics am I most excited about? So I just feel like, and this is going to be, maybe this is a cop out because it's not like one specific topic here. And you guys can judge me for that if you want. But just the idea of being able to be around three friends or, brother and openly talk about things that like I've probably never said to anybody before, just in general, to be able to openly talk about things ranging from all the stuff on the list, past relationships, and some of the things I've gone through with that, and pornography, and like so many things on the list that we have that dudes don't talk about, right? And the idea that now I can openly do that, I'm really looking forward to that. And what I hope to gain from doing the podcast is the insight and the ability to be honest, right? I think as we progress throughout this, we're going to build up some confidence and just being able to openly discuss things and be more free, I guess, to say those things. And since now I'm the one talking, is there anything I missed, guys, that you guys did? Oh, I'm single. I'm
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
the
he's the unique
bachelor
one in that.
of the podcast.
Any ladies listening?
Does that
Avoid him.
wrap it up the thing? I feel like you guys said so much more. I guess because you're married and stuff, you just had a lot more to say.
So I covered a lot of your background.
Yeah, you did. You kind of
essentially you can copy and paste a lot of what I said.
He's the favorite son for the mom. I think I have dad. I think I'm the favorite for dad, but he's mom's favorite for sure. Mom, if you're listening, we all know, and it hurts.
They tell us they don't choose.
Yeah, I think
she chose.
She did.
Yeah,
Dude. There's no doubt about it. Anybody who's ever been around us, like, there's no doubt about it. Like, but she's supportive either way. Like, I'm not saying in any way, shape, or form that she's like, yeah, dude, Sean or nothing. Like he gets his love and attention, but she's super supportive as a mom in general. Shout out Mama Heartbreaker. So
yeah, we all love her. We all love her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I think that's a pretty solid introduction to each of us. I hope a little bit of our personalities came out in that. I know it wasn't a very long discussion, but just enough. And you'll learn more. And like I said, eventually we'll get more into. I think some of these subjects will get more into our backgrounds because it'll touch more on that. Like I know the mental health one is probably one that we're all going to get a lot deeper into ourselves, and almost every subject, I think we're going to learn a lot about ourselves and each other,
and everybody at home is going to learn more about us, right? Like, here's our introductions, but y'all are about to learn a lot about us. Stuff you don't.
We're going to become real good friends.
Like here's that the real vanilla like face sheet, and then you open that book up and it's like, oh god.
Oh yeah.
So I know.
Yeah, so hopefully no one out there reaches out to me after this.
So we did say that we were going to go over what the first episode is. But before we do that, I feel like before we reveal this is going to be episode 1. Remember, because this is episode 0. Episode 1 will be about X. Are we open to, guys, who can tell me if maybe we hold a secret? Are we open to going through a couple of things here on the list and just saying that they are coming? Letting people know some of the topics they have to look forward to. Yay or nay?
Yeah. I'm down.
I think so.
Well, the best part is you already touched a couple of them when you were introducing yourself.
Yeah, we definitely touched on a couple of them already. So,
all right. Well, I know we've talked about mental health was one that has been brought up multiple times. That is on the list. Mental health for men, and that is going to include all these aspects of it: speaking out on it, harboring it, getting help for it, all those sorts of things. Love and sex, and all the things that involves. Fatherhood. As is mentioned, Indy is expecting physical health and fitness, exes in previous relationships, goals and drive, porn and the impact of it, dating apps and modern dating and relationships. And that is just some of the topics. And if you have ideas for topics, guys, they can just let us know, right? Like, we're open to.
There you go.
Yeah,
reach out to us. We're on Twitter.
We got all
Twitter, Instagram,
YouTube comments.
You can find us.
We have a website. Go there. You can't leave a comment, but
was it BeHonestMan.com?
BeHonestMan.com. You can subscribe to a mailing list, though.
Yeah,
and we have links on there. You can
that's gonna have all the socials.
Get to all these new places.
Everywhere that you listen to podcasts, you can find it there. And all of the socials, you can find them there.
Oh yeah.
So if you're seeing this and you're watching it on YouTube or you're listening to it on Spotify, don't worry. You can go over to Apple. You can get it there on Apple Podcasts. You can go over to Anchor. If you're on Spotify, go to YouTube. If you're on YouTube, go to Spotify. You can do any of that. We're going to try to make it as available as we possibly can until we sign a mega deal for exclusivity. So if you're listening, you think this is great and you're ready to throw down, we'll do it for cheap.
I can't wait to get that Raid Shadows Legends.
Yeah, buddy. Wow, dude, we're gonna have to bleep that out. We're gonna have to. This is free.
Unofficial sponsor, man.
They're gonna monetize us.
All right, so that out of the way, you get an idea of what we will potentially and most likely talk about in the future. some of that for sure. Things are fluid. But as far as the first episode, what we're going to be discussing, I guess the best way to put it is going to be the general view of masculinity in society and our expectations, the expectations of society, of what it is to be a man, how we've developed that, how we continue to kind of live that, and how that's changing, how it affects our lives. Just everything that kind of encompasses and has something to do with being a man in the most general sense, and
Oh,
in some very specific ways. But I think that is going to be the best kind of, aside from this being the intro in our, just kind of little miniature biographies, the best intro to like kind of the general subject matter we want to get into is just hitting it from the front. Like, this is a discussion among men of various perspectives. So let's just talk about what that means to be a man. So
It's
I
going to
hope
be this
everyone
big overarching topic that everything else we talk about is going to branch off of.
for
And
sure.
it just makes the most sense for that to be our
It's the perfect
first
primer.
episode.
It
Oh,
is.
yeah.
It's the perfect
Yeah,
primer.
we'll deep dive into all these little aspects that we've been going through and talking about, and hopefully that'll get you guys all excited, man. There's a lot of good stuff to talk about and a lot of good discussions to be had.
I
For
can't wait
sure.
for it. So episode 1 will be coming out, we think. Maybe I shouldn't say it, but let's go for it. Next Monday. Not the Monday that you're hearing this, because you are hearing this one, so you're not going to get it. But the following Monday, we hope to have that one out. And we're going to be honest, we don't know if this is going to be a weekly or a bi-weekly podcast at this time. So bear with us as we iron out the kinks. This is our first one. We're figuring out what we want to do, but we do look forward to having you with us on this journey. And remember, always be honest, man.